Good morning, friends. Welcome to the opinion articles analysis of 7th May 2015. Let us look at the first article. The first article is about South Asia suffers more during quakes due to proper infrastructure. This, I think, this comes under the editorial section and can be found on page 11 or 1011, somewhere around there. This is a very important article. Basically, in this particular article, the author talks about he interviews various geologists where they talk about if the earthquake in Nepal could have been predicted, if what are the reasons or what are the outcomes after the Nepal earthquake. They are trying to figure out if the height of the mountain has altered after this earthquake has happened. They also have they're asking questions about if the earthquake has impacted the flow of the river, and they tried to analyze. So though Kathmandu was not the epicenter of earthquake, Kathmandu was very severely affected. The reason for this is Kathmandu is on a old lake. It's basically built on a old lake sediment, and this is very highly susceptible to the shaking. That's the reason the epicenter of this earthquake was Gorkha Lamjung. However, the Kathmandu was also badly hit. This was because it was built on an old lake sediment that's highly susceptible to shaking. So this article mainly gives you various. They can ask you questions about how earthquakes occur, what is epicenter. They can ask you how or what are the impact after earthquake happens on the rivers, on the height of the mountain, to the people around there. So this is a very important article that you need to look into. The next article is the crisis of governance in the cities. So basically this article deals with how badly our cities are governed at this point in time. He takes the example of Karnataka government, which has decided to restructure the BBMP, or the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike, which is the city's municipal corporation. Basically here he talks about the issues. The city municipal corporations come under the state list because they are local bodies. Now the issues they have been facing is because of raising population, rise in the business activity which is happening in the cities. There is a lot of movement from villages to cities. There is a lot of population are moving, and then there is also aspirations that will severely strain the already creaky public infrastructure. The public infrastructure was not planned for the growth what it is expected. Now if you actually look at it, there's already solutions have been given by various committees that have been set up. The first one is you can say the planning or the urban design, or the land planning, the spatial planning can be done in a much effective way. Then they can do capacity building of municipal staffing. This can be done by hiring adequately skilled staff. Then municipal finance, which is if there is enough finance, then or fiscal responsibility, this will help them in working on their own. And then political leadership is also very important here. Transparency has to be bought in, accountability has to be there at various level. Like for example, when service levels, it has to be there, expenditure or performance level, everywhere transparency has to be bought in, and citizen participation is another important point. Now if you actually look at it, there is interdependence between all these suggestions that have been given by various committees. For example, if there is a lack of adequate skilled personnel, then this can lead to, let's say, like, there is property tax collection, and then if the staff is not well equipped to collect the taxes, then they will lose out on tax collections, or the revenues will lower. This will again have a spiral effect. Now what is the bad news? That was the good news part of it, that there are already suggestions how this needs to be handled. Now what is the bad news? The bad news is that even though all these suggestions are there, even though people know what needs to be done, there is no political will to implement this. Now when I say political will, if the municipal corporations come under the state list, and the municipal corporations are controlled by the state. Now the states are not willing to work on these issues. You can also see they are not in any kind of urgency. They are not equipped with proper human or technical capabilities to handle these kind of issues. Now they can learn from various central government programs like JNNURM, that is the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. When they try to modernize the cities, they have come across problems, so they can share the ideas, they can share what problems they faced and how the problems were tackled between these two things. So this is important when it comes to urban city planning. So the keywords here are urban city planning, and then you talk about suggestions of how these can be handled, suggestions to handle it, and then you can think about how to ensure that proper accountability is brought in and various other things. So the list of these things, accountability. Next article is the Day of the Citizen. This is as you all know that Salman Khan is convicted and he has been sentenced to 5 years of jail. This article talks about how law is treating everybody the same, either whether it is a common man or a film star, it is not changed. And he gives an example of a person called as Alistair Pereira. Alistair Pereira, who was a 21-year-old lad, rich guy from Bombay. At some point in time in November 2006, he ran over a few guys, and these guys died. They were again sleeping on the footpath, and he was sentenced to 3 years jail by Bombay High Court. Supreme Court said the 3 years is very less. It has to be, Supreme Court said that 3 years is very less, it has to be increased. So this is just giving a comparison of how the law has been same to everybody, even the rich or the famous are not spared by the law. And then also what is important here is the Supreme Court says the Supreme Court has told that the trial court should not give the benefit of doubt to those drink and driving, and instead they should convict them under 304 304(2). So basically it's telling, like, don't try to safeguard them. Supreme Court says don't try to safeguard them, but punish them. That's what it says. Okay, this article, Messenger shoot the message. This is basically about Nepal issue. If you have been following, or if you've been on Twitter or Facebook, you've been seeing that hashtag Indian media go home. There is Indian media go home. Now the reason for this is this talks about the ethics and integrity of the media, the ethics and integrity of how media shamelessly tries to promote themselves. They care only about their TRP, and they're not really worried about actual causes of what the problem is happening in and around the nation. And what happened in Nepal was that the Nepalis have been complaining that the Indian media has been relentlessly advertising, and they're all worried about increasing their TRP ratings and nothing more beyond their TRP ratings. Now there can be a question on this in ethics and integrity part of the mains. They can ask you how Indian media should behave, or was it ethical that Indian media is trying to show images from Nepal disaster places just to increase the TRP, where instead of doing all that, they could have actually gone there and they could have actually helped those people and helped the people who are in distress, instead of going there to just shoot the videos. This is about it. Then patent pressures. This talks about US being unhappy with the Indian patent regime, or the Indian intellectual property right, what we call it as IPR. US is very unhappy with the intellectual property right. They want Indians to bring the IPR regime closer to the norms that that is like the US seeks, and they say they have been uncomfortable in particular clauses of the Patent Act of 2005 of India. Now some of the notable cases here are one is in December last year there was the cancer drug Nexavar, which was the Supreme Court upheld the sale of a generic version of a cancer drug next hour and said it's absolutely fine. And then again Novartis also had applied for a patent which was anti-cancer drug, Glyvac. Again Supreme Court came forward there, and see, basically what they're trying to do here is there are certain corporations, they want to make money out of everything and anything, and they don't care at what cost it comes. Now Supreme Court some point in time in between, they come there and say, see, you cannot make money of everything, you make money wherever possible, but then humanitarian grounds have to be there. So try to be humane as possible, and they put their foot forward and say, it is valid even if you stick on to this making this generic drugs. And Indians, the thing about Indian patent law has always been compliant with TRIPS, that is trade related aspects of intellectual property rights. And now various other countries have also looked at Indian Patents Act as a model with affordability of, like, basically this makes the pharma products affordable, highly affordable, and they want to follow the Indian patent law here. Thank you. I think these are the important articles of Hindu Opinion, and if you found any other article important, please do let us know. We are going to cover that, and we'll ensure that we try to analyze it for you people. If you liked the video, please do subscribe to our videos. Thank you.